Right. Today we'll see the backup and recovery and complete real-time stuff today. So all the real-time stuff we will able to see. So what is the backup and recovery? It's a small topic actually. So what is the backup and recovery generally? So what are the types of backups which are available? Then now you can able to set up the disaster recovery environment. So backup and recovery. Why we need to be take the backup and recovery generally, and what are the types of backups which are available? So generally we will able to take the backup and do the recovery whenever it required. See, for protecting the against of the failure or failure of hardware and softwares, otherwise power environmental disasters and accidental, and if you do any, if you will get any miscellaneous changes generally, we are ready for unplanned exceptions generally by taking the backup, and we are doing the recovery in a recovery mission. That is what actually backup and recovery generally. What are the types of backup and recoveries which are backups, type of backups which are available? Total here we have four types actually: full, incremental, online, and offline generally. So generally, full backup means generally what it is: full backup, incremental backup, online, and offline means full means generally So we are going to be taking the complete backup over the middleware home, and incremental backup means so whenever you are doing any changes, that changes generally we will able to take the backup. Okay. So from that only that changes only. See, for example, if you are doing the application deployment, before you are doing the application deployment, we need to take the backup. Only that. That is called incremental backup. Generally, online and offline backup means online means when no incremental backup, which we may have the two types. One is online and second one is offline. Online means when you are connected to the Weblogic server instances, and at that time we are able to taking the backup. And offline means when you are not connected to the Weblogic server instance, that time we are taking the backup. So that is about online and offline backup. In other words, online backup you can call it as a hot backup, and offline backup you can call it as a cold backup. So what are the generally reviews, terms and components? These are all the review of the terms and components generally. Terms and components and Oracle middleware and as well as the WebLogic. These are the homes generally which we need to take the backups generally. Oracle home and as well as Oracle instance generally. Oracle home, middleware home, and Java home and WL home. All these are the different components generally, which we need to be take that all the homes generally: Oracle home, middleware home, and WebLogic home. These are about the different homes we need to be take the backup actually. See, let's we see understanding the backup and recovery. Backup means it is scheduled, and scheduled in the sense we already schedule. At least we need to be take weekly, or it's depend on the organization. Every 15 days also we need to be take about the backup generally by using the different operating system tools which we can able to take the backup. Recovery means generally which is unscheduled, usually which is unscheduled generally in the sense at least annually, or we will able to do in the recovery mission generally. What we are doing by taking on backup generally, we are giving a client to the guarantee of minimizing the impacts on the business, and maybe we will able to get that hardware and software impacts generally. So we are going to be minimizing all the impacts on the business by using the SLA type, service level agreement. And let's we see what are the types of backups generally which are available here: online and offline, and full and incremental backup, which we already discussed. And full backup generally which is very easy, but it requires generally more space. And online backup and offline backup, incremental backup means it is easy, but it is harder to recover, but it is easy generally, faster to create the backups. Those are about the types of backups which are available. Generally, backup recommendations generally after the initial domain is created generally, backup recommendations generally. What are the backup recommendations? After the initial domain is created generally offline, and scheduled backup means online generally. After the component or the cluster changes online again, you need to take the backup. Before application deployment online. Before patches or upgrades generally offline, and data backups online generally. LDAP, persistent registry, and the SOA repository. All these are, we can call it as backup recommendations generally, when we will able to take either it may be online or offline. Those are about the online and offline. So what are the limitations while you are backing up the data generally? You cannot able to add users or change permissions to the particular LDAP directory, like lightweight direct accessing protocol. And while you are backing up of the HTTP session, if it is in memory generally, there is a chance of losing the data, because which is going to be stored within the WebLogic server instances, which we can able to overcome that issue generally by using the JDBC replication, because which is going to be stored in the JDBC. By using that, which we can able to replicate by using the HTTP session. So that is about the limitations of the restrictions or restrictions for backing up the data. let's we see how you are able to performing a full backup. It's very very important interview question. Performing a full offline backup generally. Shut down all the processes generally. Stop WebLogic via administration console and shut down the database and stop the listener and the node manager and stop the remaining services like Apache, or if you configure the HTTP generally you can stop all the services, and you can take the backup by using the tar or jar or zip or pack and unpack utilities generally. We can take the backup. Important interview question: what are the tools which we can able to use for taking the backup generally? Tar, zip, pack and unpack, or jar utility. These are the tools which we can able to use for taking the backup in the WebLogic server environment, and test the backup by performing the recovery on the another computer. Generally what we need to do, we can use the alternative computer in an alternative data center generally, and time the generally what we can able to do, we can recover for the SLA type service level agreement and store the backup set. Whatever we took the backup, we'll just move to the recovery computer. There we need to be take the backup and we need to be stored over there. This is about how you are going to be performing the full backup generally, and backing up a domain configuration generally. Enable the auto backup. This is what generally how we can able to take the full backup over the complete middleware form. Then generally how you can able to backing up the domain configuration. So generally, in the another way they will ask some question actually, how you would able to get if the config.xml is corrupted, or how you would able to take the entire domain backing up. So generally we will able to enable the auto backup configuration. In the sense, once you enable these properties, automatically whenever you reboot the WebLogic server instance, automatically it will take the backup by default, which is disabled. We need to be enabled. Go to that, we can able to take. So it has going to be generates two files: config-boot.jar file, config-original.jar file. So go to here, click on the HCL domain, and go to the advanced, generally, you know, enable the configure archive enabled generally. Sorry, go down. Configuration archive enabled, and by default it is 0. Make it 2, and click on save button, and click on logout. And sorry, you can rebounce actually, not logout. Rebounce the server generally. So then after that, what I need to do, I'm just moving to that. Right, config-boot.jar file and config-original jar space -xvf config-original.jar. It has going to be extracting. See, every configuration it has going to be backing up. In that you can able to get the config.xml also. Go to here, config.xml, and you can copy, and you can paste under the config directory, and you can recover the whenever the config.xml corrupted like this. All the domain configuration you can able to backup like this. Auto backup configurations generally automatically, which will reboot whenever you're rebooting the WebLogic server, automatically takes the backup. That is about the backing up the domain configuration. So then after that you can backing up the following instance homes also. And generally, so whenever you are recording of all the installations, generally you can recording on all the installation like each host name and as well as IP address, OS related information, everything we can able to record of the installation process. So this is generally we can able to take backup like this way generally. Then how you can able to recover and when you can able to recover generally. So there are following reasons actually to when we will able to recover. Whenever you will get the following reasons actually, or following problems generally: data loss, user error, miscellaneous attack, and corruption of data, and media failure and application failure. All these are the possible causes of the failure generally. Recovery depends on the cause generally. If failure is like medium, generally you can do that repair, and as well as failure is medium, generally you can replace. If failure is huge, generally you can relocate from one location to another location. This is how you are going to be recovering after getting the disaster generally. First, you can able to recover the homes generally. You can this applies to generally you can recover, stop all the process, and whatever you took the backup generally, that you can able to untear over there on the recovery machine, and you will just go to that domain home bin and restart all the services and processes. And generally you can recover the manager server first. How you recover the manager servers generally, whenever the software is going to be crashes or node manager is going to be generally, or server is going to be crashes, node manager generally it will detect automatically, and it is going to be restarting those server instances if you configure the node manager. Generally, if the files are damaged, you can recover the files in their original places, generally restart the software, and you can restore the files in a new host, in the sense from old computer to in a new computer, by using the OS tools called tab or ngp utilities, and go to the domain home bin, and you can change over there, and go to the config directory. You can change over there and remaining the things like host name, and as well as port number, host name, and you can rebound the server, the managed server, which is going to be recovered generally. See, whenever the admin server is does not available, and generally manager server which is starts into the MSI mode, in the sense manager server independence mode, to reduce the importance about the manager server instead, generally about the application urgency. So how you can able to bring normally into the normal position. So whenever the application server start into the admin generally MSI mode. So let's we see how we can able to get into the normal position. So click on that manager server, which server generally which got into the MSI mode. Click on that servers. So click on that any one of the server. So click on the any one of the server. Go to the advanced. Go to the advanced and generally manager server independence mode, which is enabled actually. See here. Click on tuning. Go to the advanced. So by default manager server independence is enabled. You can deselect and you can rebound the server, which comes into the normal state. How you can able to restarting and recovering from the administration server generally, install the WebLogic server on the backup computer and copy the all application files on backup computer, and copy the configuration file backup computer, and go to the the config directory. You can change the host name like this is old machine and this is new machine. Generally whenever you want to run the server, what are the things required actually? IP address and port number. You can change those things and you can rebound the server on the backup computer. In this way you can able to recover homes, admin, managed server instances, and you can recover the cluster also by filing view generally, and undo all the changes, and generally recover from the configuration, recover from the domain, recover from the WebLogic, and perform the full backup. So in this way you can able to recover of a cluster. So then after completing that, you can recover the the deployment also. What are the deployments you are deployed into the old computer? Generally you can update, you can recover those applications also. Then in this way you can able to setting the disaster recovery environment. So this is about backup and recovery. So generally in this area they will ask the following questions: what is hot backup, what is cold backup, and how you can able to set up the disaster recovery environment, how you can able to perform the offline backup and online backup. These are the questions they will ask. And the other question: what are the tools did you use for taking the backup in your WebLogic server environment? Those are the questions they will ask. So this is about that backup and recovery environment. Then after completing that, we are just moving into that real-time part generally. So what is the real-time generally? Let's we see what are the real-time questions we'll able to see here. So first, let's we see what are the supporting types here. We may have the following supporting types like L1, L2, L3 support. L1 means for monitoring people actually 1 to 3 years or 1 to 2 years we'll able to get L1 support, and 2 to 6 or 2 to 7 generally we'll able to get the L2 support, and 8 to 10, 15 generally we can get the L3 support generally. So that is about the supporting types. Tell me about yourself generally. Tell me about yourself means, so generally we will able to get the following information generally. Hi, this is your name generally. I have completed education part and I have started my career with WebLogic server generally since from so and so year we're working on. And tell me about your current project, at least 1 minute. Then after that, in my current project, roles and responsibilities are I'm working as a L2 or L3 support guy involved into the installation, day-to-day tasks like installation and configuration, creating the node manager, and as well as missions, and as well as other things also which you can able to monitor, and sorry, installing and configuring those configurations and setting up the multiple domains then deploying the applications into the WebLogic console using the various methods, and I am involved into the performance tuning and monitor kind of activities, and like by using the various methods, actually monitoring the WebLogic server self from the admin console using the WLST or using the WebLogic diagnostics framework, and using the log files, checking the log files and finding out the root cause analysis whenever I'll get an issue, and I can document those issues, and whenever we'll get the same exception type, we will go through those documents and we will fix that issues. And taking the thread dumps, when we will able to take, generally whenever the application server, whenever the server gets down or slow down using the summary tool generally. So by using the some third party tool, we'll able to do the thread dumps analysis to find out whether there is a deadlock situation occurred or not. If it is, you will get any deadlock situation generally, we'll able to analysis and fix that issue. Whenever the server gets forceful shutdown generally, we need to use, or we use to change the XMS and XMX attribute values generally. If application gets slowed down generally, we will check the minimum and maximum auto increment connections from the admin console. So that's all about my ourself. So that is about the tell me about yourself. Next, what is the real-time WebLogic application server architecture generally? See, generally in real-time WebLogic server architecture, we may have the both hardware load balancers and software load balancers. This is what application server, or tied. This is what web tied. This is hardware tied. In the sense, in the web tier only, we'll able to get both hardware and software load balancer. This is what database tier. And regarding the security, generally, we'll able to configure using the LDAP or embedded LDAP. So embedded LDAP, which we can able to install automatically whenever you are installing the WebLogic server. Whenever the request comes from the client, generally this request forward to the hardware load balancer. Generally, hardware load balancer will do the all hardware devices load balancing and forwarding to the software load balancer. It checks about the request type, whether it is a static or dynamic. So then after that, including the authentication, and which is forwarded to the application server if it is dynamic. In the application server, it will do some of the data validations regarding the request and processing this request to the data type. In the data type, generally it will do some of the SQL transactions and generating the response and send back to the application tier. Applications are sent back to the web tier, and web tier sent back to the client, and client will display the output. So that is about, so generally real-time WebLogic server architecture and its process generally. So this is first question, and this is second question. What is the WebLogic server real-time architecture generally? Then after that, other important interview question, tell me about your environment. This is what your environment actually. You need to be tell about your environment. So in our environment, which we may have the WebLogic server 10.3.6 and Oracle 11.1.05 and JDK 1.6, like that, Apache 2.2.17, like that, all the versions whatever used in our environment you have to specify. I'm supporting for all the environments like dev, QA and EAT and production environment. I'm supporting 4 domains. If you have any, you can make it as those domains also names. And all these domains generally went to the go live and working fine without any trouble. Those are stable actually. And in our environment generally, which we may have the total 4 nodes which we have in 4 nodes generally, each node which we may have the 3 servers, total 12 servers which was there, all servers in the cluster environment only. And we configured the total 3 Apache servers, total which are having the 12 servers, total which was there are the 12 servers. That is about our environment. So the moment you configure, you told like that, they will ask how many servers can you add into the cluster. There is no limit. You can add how many you want. You can, but for administrating purpose, we need to be minimized. We need to be add some servers to the one cluster and some servers to the another cluster. So by default, there is no limit. And how many servers you can able to create, it is depend on the hardware and software configurations. There is no limit for that also. So that is about that. Tell me about yourself, and as well as tell me about your environment. Sorry, tell me about your environment. So then after completing that, what are your daily activities? The moment you log in and log out, what you can able to do? The moment you log in, generally, immediately you can check about your mails, working on the emergency issues if you will get anything, and otherwise you can handle the on calls generally based on the client's requirement. That is, then after that you can prepare the documents for then otherwise you can prepare the scripts for automating the startup and the shutdown scripts and deployment tasks, and we'll discuss the post or next week work. Generally based on the issues, we can able to restart the server instances by taking the client approval and working on the client's request, involved into the planned or unplanned schedules, and monitor about the WebLogic server instances, and you can deploy the applications if it is there any applications. Then after that, we can hand off to the next shift person. So that is about the daily activities. The moment you log in and log out, in between what you can able to do. That is what daily activities. And before we are moving into that, what is the ticketing tool generally? How we can able to manage the ticketing tool? Before that, let's we see generally that part we'll able to see later. See, generally, your ticket will rise by the either it may be monitoring people or technical support or client, three people. And who will raise the bug? Bug will raise by the tester. So let's we see level of supports which we have seen. So generally sometimes they will ask real-time socket addresses. No need to tell 198. Generally you can tell 170 or 160 series. And whatever you are giving the project in your resume, you can know about the client URL also. They will ask immediately what is your client URL and how you can able to apply the patches that we'll able to see later. How to resolve the connection timeout issues generally. So generally, whenever you may have the more ideal connections, that time it has going to be issue, you will get that connection timeout issues. In the sense, connections are ideal, which has given the that particular time. If it is not used that in that time, generally you will get the connection timeout error. For that, what we need to do, all the inactive connections generally which we need to be closed by taking the client approval, and connections are going to be free. Otherwise, you need to be resize the connection pools dynamically. That is about the connection timeout error. Generally, how to resolve. Just hang on 1 second. Hello. Yeah. చెప్పాలండి పూర్తి చెప్పండి. Right. So how to resolve the connection timeout error generally? In that way, you can able to resolve. So then after that, how to resolve the unable to connect the database issues? Generally, why we need to be get unable to connect to the database error generally? Check whether the database up or not. So generally, what we need to do, if the database is up, generally we can able to connect. So otherwise, generally what will happen, sometimes database team, they are going to be change the connection properties like username and password, whatever you gave while you are configuring the data sources. If those are mismatched, generally it cannot able to allow to connect to the database. That time we will associate it with the database team. We need to get the updated connection pool properties, and we need to be add those connection pool properties under the data source, and we can able to refresh it, and it is ready to now it has able to allow to access the connections for the from the database. That is how you are going to be resolving the unable to connect the database error. And simply they are asking what is the SSL process generally. So we need to generate the yeah, digital certificates, and then after that I need to be prepare the certificate signing request. Then after that I'm sending these to the some third party companies. They are going to be prepare the digital certificates, including the private key alias. We need to be import those certificates, including the identity and trust, and we need to log into the admin console. I can able to configure the key store and as well as SSL, and click on save button, and I can able to test the SSL configurations. This is about the SSL process generally. Then after that, how many missions are you handle in your environment? You can tell 6 to 7 missions or 7 to 8 missions. And what is your team size means? You can tell 6 or 7. For you, this is not required actually shift timings, because there you will get the general shift only. So what is on-call support means, generally client will give a mobile to you. So based on the client's requirement, you may be call to you, and if you'll get any issues, and we need to be login and we need to be working on. That is called on-call support. It is 24/7 support. That is about the on-call support. See, whenever you are in on-call support, whenever you'll get the severity one ticket, generally in the sense emergency ticket, how you can able to handle. Open the ticketing tool, and you can able to know about the issue. Then log into the target servers, check the log files, and you can know about that issue, and you can fix that issue. Then other important into question, what is a bridge call generally? Bridge call is nothing but what so every day at the end of the day, so we are going to be participate in the bridge call. We need to be discuss about the past work, future work, and present work. And if you have any issues, you can able to discuss in the bridge call. This is about the bridge call. So these are about generally some interview questions. Then after that, we're just moving into the other one called what is the ticketing tool process generally. So before we are moving into the ticketing tool process, let's we discuss about the what is ITIL process generally. How we will able to discuss about that ITIL process. See, every MNC company generally it is going to be following the ITIL process, which is certified now. What is ITIL generally? Information Infrastructure Library. So by using this, which we can able to impact, or which we can able to reduce the impact on the service or impact on the business. This is a systematic approach to produce the high quality IT service to the client or customer. So by using the ITL. team generally. So as of WebLogic server administrator, we need to be know about the following actually. Based on the service level agreement, we need to be work. What is SLA generally? So which written some of the negotiated agreement in between the service provider and customer documenting agreed service generally level and its cost generally service level agreements. So those we can able to see generally service level agreement. In this sense, SLA type. So what are those generally? What are the types of uh, you know CRs which are going to be handled generally? We are going to be handle the following tickets generally. Before that, let's we see what is the problem management, change management, incident management, and as well as release management. Very very important interview questions. All these. Let's we see the first. What is the change management generally? Change management is nothing but what so which is related to the organization actually. These tickets, which is nothing but what CR tickets, which is respond generally change management team, which is responsible to the business generally and its IT request to change generally services with the business needs according to the business needs, which needs to be changed actually. So change center generally, these are the roles which you may have: change center, change authority, cab, change advisory board, and emergency cab generally. 80% of service interruption generally without getting any service interruption, which we will do by using the change management tool, change management team. Generally, what will happen, what we will do, and what we will able to go wrong, and every information they are going to be gathering, and if they need to be allowed, generally we can able to do implement actually. That is what change tickets or change types generally: normal, standard, emergency. Normal means no need to require the approval, and standard means no non-urgent. Generally emergency means which requires the approval. In the sense, if management people which are going to be approved, then only we can able to implement those changes, else those are keep in pending generally. These are the changes, nothing but change advisory board generally. These are the roles which you may have under the CAP generally, which is called CAP. Who raised, what is the reason, returns, risks, resources, responsible, and relationships. All those they are going to be analysis, and they are going to be approved or not. They can able to tell, and by using those tickets we can able to do. That is what actually change management. Then other important one generally release management. Release management is nothing but ready for deploy. Ready for deploy into the target environments. What are those generally? Release is nothing but collection of authorized test changes ready for deployment. So generally release management will plan by the release manager generally. So according to the release management documents, which you can able to deploy into the target environments, either it may be a test or production environment. That is about the release management. In every environment we'll able to do every week actually the releases, generally build releases. Otherwise every 15 days. Then other one important one generally, what is the incident life cycle? Otherwise, what is the incident management? See, incident life cycle means when you are getting, how you are getting the work, and when you are getting, how you are getting, and how you are going to be managing the work. That part we'll able to see the incident management. Incident management means how you are going to be deals with the unplanned interruptions, which is preventing from the business interruption, and you are going to be preventing from the reduction of the quality, right? Unplanned exceptions, unexpectedly if you will get any error, that is called exception. Error is nothing but incident generally. These incidents which are reported by users or technical staff or monitoring tool. So generally, most of the cases we'll be able to use incident tickets generally. That is about the instant ticket. Next, what is the problem management? So if you resolve, again you are getting the issue once you resolve the instance generally. So that the ticket will leads to the problem tickets generally. In the sense, all the recurrence, or eliminating the recurring instances or recurring issues. So generally problem management, which is aims to prevent problems and resulting the incidents and minimize the impacts of the unavoidable incidents generally. That is called problem management. In the sense, which are going to be identifies issue or otherwise root cause analysis, and work around over there, identifies and all the causes of an incidents, and we can find out the root cause analysis about the issue. That part we'll able to see the problem management. So this is about the you know ITIL process. Let's we see next what is the ticketing process generally. In the ticketing process, which we have the following severities: severity 1, severity 2, severity 3 generally. Need to resolve severity 1 0 to 4 hours, severity 2 0 to 8, and severity 3 3 working days generally. What is the ticketing rule generally? Ticketing is nothing but problem. Ticket is nothing but problem. Example: if you will take any laptop, that it is not working properly, you will raise the ticket by making a call to the customer care. There is what one ticket generally. So for handling such kind of tickets, generally which we may have the tool called here remedy ticketing tool. You know, most of the organizations they'll use the remedy. Otherwise, they'll use some internal tools called service now. So different tools. So what are those? What is available in the remedy? Remedy is a customer relationship tool generally, which is used to be how you are going to be managing the ticketing tools. What do you have in those generally? It has going to be handled the following tickets actually: change, incident, problem, and release management. Change. First, we'll see important entry question. What are the different type of tickets did you handle generally? The first one generally incident tickets, which are instantly generally what will happen. Instant ticket means something happen accidentally, so the ticket which rise automatically or manually. That is called incident tickets. Example, whenever the WebLogic server is failed while you are starting up, it will be raised automatically. Change ticket means generally if somebody wants to do the change or creating the new, generally during the runtime, generally the change management tickets which are going to be raised. Problem ticket means it is used to manage the problem investigations, known errors, and solutions. In the sense, proactive alarm notifications and root cause analysis, finding about the issue. These three types of tickets which are going to be handled generally. Status of the tickets generally. Important entry question. New, assigned, in progress, pending, resolved, closed, and cancelled. New means display when you are creating the new record in the ticketing tool. Assigned to means the ticket is which is assigned to the somebody or someone. In progress means somebody is working on that incident or in that ticket. Pending means issue is going to be resolved, but which is again coming the same issue. In the sense, it is not resolved. Pending means which requires some more information. That indicates it requires some more information to resolve that issue. Resolved means issue has going to be resolved and it has going to be takes generally it has this has going to be resolved. That time we are going to be change the status to the resolved. Closed means generally the system will auto close in 5 business working days. Same issue cannot occur again. Cancel means if the record was an accident, generally generally the issue which was fixed, then there is no issue about that. That time we are going to be cancel those issues generally. States of tickets generally. Agents of priority generally critical in the sense it will impact the business. High means it will important only for the server. Medium means it is not important, much important, and low means it does not require to consider at this point. This is about the priority or urgency. What are the change required status generally? Requested, the ticket is requested state, and ready means while getting the approval, the ticket will be ready state, and schedule means after getting the approval, the ticket will come to a schedule state. Accepted means for implementing any change, and resolved and failed and rejected. These are all the statuses in the change request. This is about the ticketing tool. Let's we see how we can able to do that. How we can able to working with the ticketing tool generally. How we can able to connect to the ticketing tool generally. You can connect to the ticketing tool, so by using that mstsc or by using the vpn, connect to the ticketing tool like this remote desktop you are going to be connecting. So generally all the ticketing tools which are available under the client side only, we can able to log in by using the vpn or by using the ssh or mstsc or to the remote system, and we can able to log in like this into the remedy user. They are going to be creating the user for us, and you can able to log into like this. Then after that, what you have to do after completing this one? So once you log into the remedy user, then it will be like this actually. See here what will happen. Case ID is nothing but ticket number. So ticket number generally they will make a call to you. Otherwise, they will send to your mail ID. You can type the ticket number here. Case ID is nothing but ticket number, and you can click on the search button. It will display about the complete information about the ticket and what type of you see. This is about the statuses: new, assigned, work in progress, pending, resolved, closed. All these are the ticketing states. Then severity here. If you come down, what is the severity generally? It will discuss about the severity also. And then after that, your team actually. What is your group? Under the which group individuals actually to whom which are going to be assigned this issue. And that person generally which is going to be working on that issue. And see that many persons which are available, that many individuals which are available. Coming to that severity 3 means which is low actually. Urgency means very low. So do not consider at this moment. The log file they are going to be attached to. You can download that log file and you can change to that work in progress, new to work in progress, somebody is working on. So like that you can able to working on this issue, and you can resolve that issue, work in progress. Then after that, if issue is not assigned and log into that remedy user generally, then you can check about assignees means is there any tickets which are assigned to you. Then you can check, and your group name you can type it here, and you can select your name and which is any ticket which is assigned or not. See, one ticket is assigned generally to this group, and you can working on that issues. So like this, you can able to working on individuals. Generally, you can select about individual, and you can check about that any ticket is assigned to the individual or not. You can check about if does not available any tickets, and you can close and you can monitor only. So that is about how you are going to be working with the ticketing tool. This is quite common for every ticketing tool. If it is internal tool also doesn't matter. The process whatever you have seen here, very quite common. You will working with the like this process only. Type the ticketing ID, you can search and you can download the log file and about the issue and log into the target machine and you can start working on that issue. Like this way, you can able to working on, right? Then after that, let's we see. You can click on that your team name and individuals and what are the issues you are getting to the your group and how many people are working both in online and offline in the sense in local and as well as remote. So everything which are going to be displaying over there. So then after that, generally, what you have to do once you will fix that issue, you can close the work in progress to resolved, and you can come out from the ticketing tool. So this is about the ticketing tool remedy. Similarly, like that, other ticketing tools also, which will do the same process. Then after completing this ticketing tool, so generally let's we see how you can able to apply the patches and as well as how you can able to apply the patches. You can apply the patches in the WebLogic server by using the BSU and from Oracle 12c onwards Oracle patch. Oracle BA Smart Update. Go to the WL home, utilities or middleware home utilities. Under that command line, you can update like this. You can apply the patches like this. bsu.sh prod.dar. So before that, we need to be download the patch from the Oracle support ID under this path or wherever you want. You can able to keep and click on install. It has going to start the installation about the patch the moment you enter this command. Then you can able to check about this patch is installed successfully or not. You can view. And if it is installed, then before applying the patches, we need to be take the backup. This is command mode. We can able to apply the patches and GUI mode generally. BSU generally, which provides the GUI mode also. And generally, what we can able to do, shut down all the processes and take the complete backup of the WebLogic server environment. Then start and start the scripts. Go to this path generally utils generally bsu.sh. It will open like this. You can enter the support ID about the Oracle username and password, and you can download the. These are all the actually patches which are available here, and select the patch, and you can download that patch to your local. Download the patch, and then after that select the patch, click on OK, and click on processing the validation generally. Validation completes, and it is going to be processing. And click on processing generally. It is going to be processed and the issue is the generally after applied generally all the patches which are going to be available under the default tab after applied. Then what will happen, you can start the WebLogic server instances and you can investigate if you will get any issues under the log file. So after applied the patches, so this is about how you are going to be applying the patches both in a command mode and as well as in a GUI mode. So before WebLogic server, 9.x generally WebLogic server 8.x, we need to be update the license.ba also, BA file also. Then after 9.x, which comes along with the installer file only. How to updating the license.ba file and why we need to update generally. If you does not update the license.ba file, which cannot allow to create more than you to create the 5 server instances generally. If you add a fifth instance generally, including your admin, generally you cannot access even the from the console generally. It will allow only to create the 5 servers only. You cannot deploy into the cluster. You can download the license.ba file and whatever you have the existing one, you can make it, you can rename it. You can download the new one and you can update like this. And then after that you can start the server instances and you will able to allow to deploy the applications into the cluster environment. And this process you can able to see the log file. If you get any error and you can able to replace immediately and you can working on it. In this way you can apply the patches and apply the license.ba file. This is about how you are applying the patches. Then after completing that part, generally how you can able to do that upgradation part, generally how you are going to moving from lower version to higher version upgradation part. There is nothing but what is the upgradation part. Let's we see, this is what upgradation manual generally. Upgradation documents will give by the senior people. Generally how you are going to be implementing pre-upgradation checks and post-upgradation checks. This is what actually content. First they will give you pre-upgradation checklist. You can take all the backup about the environment and as well as stop the server instances and applications and everything you can able to stop. Then later you can able to upgrading the Java first. First we need to be upgrade the Java like this. You can download the new version and install it and setting up the class path. Then after downloading and installing the Weblogic server, then next what I need to do, I need to be install the second upgrade Weblogic server. You can download the Weblogic server and you can start like this. Log into the server as a WebLogic user and you can set the class path. Then you can issue the command like this java space -d64 jar and have a .jar file and mode equal to silent mode. Generally you can install like this. After completing that installation, in instance we have upgraded Java and as well as the WebLogic server domain. Then after that we need to be create the domain. So by using the domain.py script like all these scripts and you can create the domain. Then after that you can update the following paths actually in the following scripts actually. So like you can prepare the scripts for starting the manager and as well as the administration servers. Then after that you can upgrade or you can upgrade or you can import certificates like SSL certificates and as well as the node manager. Everything you can upgrade by using this key tool utility. Then after that you can configure the node manager for the new WebLogic server domain. Then you can prepare the scripts. Then you can start the you can verify the after preparing that and you can start the scripts by using the node manager. All the manager server instances by using the node manager you can able to start. And then after that generally what we can able to see, we can create the soft links and depends on the requirement. Then modify the wlenv.sh environment related script. You can add all these scripts to that wlenv.sh. Whenever you set wlenv.sh, automatically it is going to be set the class path. And modifying the host.properties file and you can append those and you can create the credentials generally, set the class path and you can prepare the cron jobs for automatically auto rotating the log files like this. I told you while we were discussing about the environment Linux environment related commands how you are going to be scheduling the cron jobs generally. This is how you are going to be scheduling. Then after rotating all the log files, preparing all the cron jobs, generally we can able to see how you are going to be do that, load balancers, how you are going to be configuring for staging and as well as production environment. These are about the staging environment, IP addresses. These are production IP addresses. Generally we can able to configure the load balancing and setting up the load balancers, both hardware and as well as the software load balancers. So once you will update successfully, then we can able to deploy all the applications and we can able to validate the services. And generally, so click on save button, click on service validation and generally what will happen, if you will get any issues and you can able to working on it, then else the validation part which is completed. In this way you can able to upgrade from lower version to higher version from WebLogic server 10G to 11G. This is about the upgradation part. So once we will complete this part generally, so they will ask some other interview questions generally. What are the tools did you use in your environment generally? So monitoring tools generally. So generally which will have some inbuilt tools actually. Apart from that, they are going to be using some third-party tools called monitoring tools like Big Brother, GNOS, and as well as Willy Interscope. All these tools generally which you can able to monitor about the CPU, heap size, RAM, and its performance, server performance, and including the network configurations. All the things which are going to be monitoring by using the monitoring tools called Big Brother, Willy Interscope, GNOS. And what is the ticketing tool generally? Ticketing tool generally, which we have seen BMC Remedy, like that Salesforce and ServiceNow. Most of the market which is used by the BMC Remedy only. Mantis bug tracking tool generally, which is used to how to raise the ticket generally, how to communicate with L1, L3 and L4 support people generally. For that reason, Mantis bug tracking tool will use. Tools for taking and analyzing the heap dump generally. JMAP and MAT memory analyzer tool for analyzing the heap dumps generally. Tools for analyzing the thread dumps. For taking the thread dumps, which you may have the different method. For analyzing some RAI, generally some other tools which are available. And load testing, general application testing tools, generally they'll use JMeter or load running enabling generally. See wiki tool generally, whatever you are doing morning to till evening, generally those which we can able to document those activities, daily activities by using the wiki tool. It's a document tool. We can able to document all the activities from morning to till evening by using the wiki tool. These are about the tools which you can able to use in the WebLogic server. So Then after completing that, regarding the Willy interscope, I can able to send this one because some interview, some companies they are going to be asking about the Willy interscope generally. How you are going to be get to know monitoring the performance matrix about that. This document I can able to send to you people regarding the Willy interscope. Then after that, they will ask some of the issues actually about what is the complex issue did you resolve recently. Those are all the issues. These are all the exceptions which you can able to get while you are working in the real time. Then after that, this is what actually I can prepare some of the issues actually, issue description and issue details and how you can able to work around it. Like that and every issue generally. I suggested like that issue, why you are going to be creating that issue, why it is get the issue and what is the issue description and how you are going to be resolving the steps. These are the steps actually. You can prepare one complex issue while I'm sending this document to you people and you can deliver every time that issue only. So this completely completes about the real-time part and WebLogic server administration course. Any doubts in this? Hello? Right. So I will forward all the documents whatever I explained to you people. Like one is real-time issues and second one is what remedy ticketing tool. Then other one I will be able to forward to you people. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So while you are doing the practical, if you will get any doubts and you can drop the message to me, I will give a reply to you people. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And I sent some material to you people regarding the theory. And if you see or not in your mail, you can check about
I
in your
just
mail.
yes, yes.
Yes, that is regarding the theory. And last two classes I have with me only recordings. I can forward it, those two recordings to you people also. Okay.
Okay.
And you can prepare the resume. Okay.
Okay.
And while you're doing the practical or after preparing the resume, I already sent to you a WebLogic template to you also. Okay.
Yes.
And you can prepare it and after preparing that you can share with me, you can send to me, is this anything add to that resume, I will able to suggest. If not, you can start working on the market, start the marketing. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Not, you cannot take much time, right? You can take like 1 week or like within a week you can able to prepare complete and you cannot able to get ever and ever the complete grip on the any tool. Okay.
Okay.
So you can take 1 week time and you can prepare it, how much you can complete and you can complete, but you can start the marketing. Whether do you have the
Okay.
complete preparation or doesn't matter, does not matter. Take the 1 week and start the marketing.
Okay.
So in the sense, if you start the marketing, so how you can able to start the preparation. So where you
Okay.
need to be, where you need to be strong like that. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
sir.
So that is about from my side. And whenever it require any help, and you can able to do the mail or drop the mail ID, drop the mail,
Okay.
and you have my mail ID. And regarding that, my phone number generally I can leave the call if I'm not in a work actually. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So 91965242042044. Okay.
I have the number too.
Mm-hmm.
I have your number, sir.
Okay, no problem. So I'm just telling to you people. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So I will forward rest of the documents to you people also. And
Okay.
thank you so much for supporting to complete like this. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. And I will give a support to you people. Okay. At any cost. Every
Okay.
day, every day after 11 o'clock, I will check all my mails and I will give a reply
Okay.
to you people. Okay. For all my
Okay.
students, I will give a reply to them after 11 o'clock.
Okay.
So no worries.